What's on, everyone? Jeremy here from the quartering. It looks like the judge has now decided that he could delay jury selection because the prosecution star witness isn't returning their phone calls and is refusing to show up in court. Does that mean Diddy got to him? I don't know, but things are getting pretty spicy in the Diddy case because without this person testifying, there's not a lot. There's just really not a lot. Opening statements have started at the time of this recording. So I would suspect there will be a second video later today with kind of a summary of everything that happened in court. But let's get on to everything we know about the Diddy case, which, you know, if I'm right, could have vast, wild, huge implications on the Hollywood creeps, Hollywood creepzoids. So let's go here. Judge delays Sean Combs' jury selection, concerned about cold feet. Judge Aaron Submaranian said he feared jurors might grow uneasy over the weekend and drop off the panel before the trial is set to begin on Monday. Well, I'm not surprised by that. I don't think I'd really want to be a part of this case either. You see, jury selection for Sean Combs' racketeering and trafficking trial was delayed on Friday over worries that some jurors might get cold feet before the start of the high-profile case. Judge Aaron Submaranian, who's overseeing the case, expressed concern that if jurors were selected before the weekend, they could grow uneasy and drop off the panel before the trial even begins on Monday. The decision came after one potential juror sent an email to the court asking to be left off the panel for issues of personal well-being. So are these jurors, are people getting to these jurors possibly? You know, you have people worried about their own safety. I suppose I would be too. 12 jurors and 6 alternates will be selected and sworn in today, which they've done, by the way. We're going to get to after that. The jury will be tasked with deciding whether the music mogul was, quote, a swinger with unorthodox bedroom proclivities or a predator who uses power against victims in drug-dazed encounters. If convicted, Mr. Combs, who was once a roundly celebrated figure in the music industry, could spend his rest of his life in prison. Now, I've said this before. I'm going to keep saying this. I believe that Diddy is a burned asset. That means he was providing information to the United States government, which allowed him to operate with impunity. Many believe he took the life of his ex-girlfriend or ex-wife. And these things were allowed to continue to happen in exchange for compromising information or compromise on Hollywood celebrities that they could then use to control them the exact same way that, you know, many believe was the case with Jeffrey. Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, see, if he was a burned asset, okay, then he's probably got no chance at all in this trial. If I just look at the evidence that has been, you know, out there right now, we have essentially hearsay, mountains and mountains of hearsay, but basically hearsay. People saying, oh yeah, 10 years ago at the party, I drank this thing. And then, you know, I was getting booty blasted by Diddy. You know, and now suddenly I revoke consent. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I happen to believe that there's a lot of deviance in the Hollywood community, in music. I believe that many of the hood's favorite rappers have almost certainly had their cheeks busted open or done it to other men. Sorry, fellas. You know, these hardcore thugs that you sing their lyrics of their rap songs are probably taking it up the tailpipe a couple times a year to keep their position in Hollywood. Just my opinion, not naming names here, but certainly we know several names from the Diddy case. With over 3 days, dozens of New Yorkers took the witness stand inside the courtroom where they were asked to describe in detail what they had seen and heard about the case against the artist, executive who had been subject to swirling claims of bad behavior over the past year and a half. You know, Mr. Combs, who has vehemently denied allegations, watched intently as potential jurors recounted what they had learned on the internet and through word of mouth. In news reports, in a group of text conversations with friends, in speculative chatter and coworkers on Joe Rogan's podcast in one case, a satirical song by a Russian comedian, you know, all sorts of stuff like that. they dig really deep on these potential jurors, see if they've ever retweeted anything, if they've shared posts, liked posts, what videos they've probably watched in their YouTube history, and a whole slew of other things, going on, that, who knows? On top of that, by the way, who's still standing by their man? Diddy Combs, once the life of party, has very few A-list supporters. I wonder why. Like, legitimately, I wonder why that might be. Maybe it's because a bunch of them were at these parties and they don't want to be associated with it. Diddy was once the life of the party. He was known for hosting lavish and exclusive gatherings in the Hamptons, having seemingly countless celebrity pals, and toasting good life with powerful allies. Yet a question remains as opening statements began today. Why haven't more of his famous friends come to his defense? The music industry is fickle. Sarah Ramal and hometown Heat Brown, a former hip-hop DJ. Everyone wants to be around you when you're on top. That's not the music industry. That's every facet of life. But when the video of Combs pummeling his former girlfriend was aired on CNN last year, nobody wanted to be around because it could tarnish their image and their name. He said being around Diddy could get you implicated in the case. After the video aired, Combs publicly apologized, saying his behavior was inexcusable, and he took full responsibility for his actions. Combs is, of course, charged in 5-count indictment of trafficking, racketeering, and transportation to engage in, bedroom work. He has pled not guilty and faces 10 years to life in prison if convicted. Now, I remain confident that Diddy will not do much time in jail, if at all. We're going to really find out what evidence kind of comes out at these, over the trial, during the trial, which is why, I'm going to probably have, 1 to 2 videos a day on it. The government's case centers around allegations that Combs forced women to participate in his freak-offs. In addition to federal charges, Combs has also been accused of other bad behavior in more than 50 lawsuits, including one filed by Ventura in 2023 that was privately settled within a day. Yeah, because they got paid off. You can make a lot of stuff go away in terms of, you just throw some money around, right? The past year has seen a stark turn. Been nominated for 14 Grammys during the jury selection. No celebrity supporters have shown up at court during jury selection. Being associated with Combs in his federal case is risky and can only tarnish the burnished images of A-list celebrities, music experts said. Well, to be honest with you, we all know that Ellen famously loved going to these parties. We all know that there's a bunch of Hollywood people who have, really loved going to these parties. So, I don't really know. You have, Kanye West supporting him. Former in-house Bad Boys record producer Stevie J has expressed support for Combs, calling many of the civil lawsuits filed against him bogus. I'd be very surprised if a bunch of those civil lawsuits weren't bogus. They seem bogus to me. I never knew of an instance where you'd be guilty before you ever go to court, he told the entertainment YouTube channel Vlad TV. Oh, there's been many such cases, my friend. But more interestingly, we got to watch this. The missing key witness crippling Diddy prosecution as trial hits roadblocks before it ever even starts. If that testimony, if we don't get testimony from that person, it's going to be really difficult, I think, to get a conviction here. He's not on trial for pummeling his ex-girlfriend. That already has been settled. So what else is there? Well, you have I'll Be Sure saying, Diddy caused my liver failure, willing to testify in trial. I'll Be Sure says that the last man breathing, he knows the truth about Diddy. There's no issue using that last of oxygen to take him down. The R&B singer appeared on Fox 5 earlier today to promote his forthcoming memoir. What a coincidence. Where he was raised question about his late ex. So this guy is willing to go testify against Diddy. He believes that, Kim Porter's passing was of Diddy's doing. I happen to believe that that's likely. Not a lot of 45-year-old millionaires die from the flu. But again, the way he treats women, not on trial here. You have to stick to what the facts are of the trial. And if I'll be sure doesn't have great testimony, I just don't believe Diddy's ever going to really see much jail time. As of 10:03 this morning, though, court has heard claims of aggressive behavior and blackmail. Opening statements have started, and the prosecution is up speaking to the jury. Prosecutor Emily A. Johnson lays out the case. She told the court that Diddy is a man who spent the last 20 years running a criminal enterprise with the help of bodyguards and staff members. Cassie is mentioned with the prosecutor telling the court about a night when Combs found out she was seeing another man, broke into that man's home and searched for Cassie. The court hears Combs pummeled her brutally. R&B artist Cassie Ventura is Diddy's ex-partner and will likely be mentioned frequently in the trial. The prosecution then claims that Combs forced Cassie to hook up with male escorts and then blackmailed her with the footage of the encounters. I believe all of that happened. We know about that guy who was went into the Trump hotel or whatever and said that he was the one that was giving it to her, apparently. The whole thing is, very, very odd. We're never going to see any video of this. That's why it's important. That's why you click the follow button or the subscribe button down below. The judge brought in all 12 juries and 6 alternates into the courtroom at 9:40 a.m. this morning. The judge is giving preliminary instruction to jurors, told them that their job is to administer justice without bias. He tells them that they cannot talk with anyone else, not a spouse, about the case, and they must report if anyone tries to contact them. The judge is giving instructions. Now, what's interesting to me is that they are not sequestering this jury, meaning any one of these people can be gotten to if somebody wants to. So it's going to be interesting to follow this. Make sure you subscribe or follow the channel to keep up to date. I'm sure there'll be updates throughout the day that I'll compile in an end-of-day video. I hope you enjoyed. We'll talk to you again real soon.